Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
City
News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabaka, Accra. It's also live on all our partner stations across the country. In the Western region, we're on Adwempa 100.7 FM in Takwa and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bono region, we're on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. Ashanti region, we're on Adwempa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, we're on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the Northern region, we're on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In the Upper East region, we're on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the Upper West region, we're on Ganga 94.3 FM in Jirapa. And Northeast region, we're on Nobia FM 98.1 FM in Naralugu. The news is also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com. My name is Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Charles Owusu Kumi.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, minority calls on government to cushion consumers with part of the over 8 billion cedis revenue accrued from petroleum products in the wake of the current economic hardships.
I therefore call on President Akufo-Addo and the outgoing Minister of Finance that they should do something about this price increment. They should sit up and think outside the box and apply these huge supernormal profits to cushion the ordinary Ghanaian.
Meanwhile, Association of Oil Marketing Companies warn of a possible collapse of some outlets due to high cost of running their businesses.
Already, we have got some people who have collapsed already. It's like that. I mean, when you have this one, you have the survival of the fittest.
Still ahead, residents of Kwenoi, Takla, and Hojo in the whole municipality call on government to, as a matter of urgency, rehabilitate deplorable roads in the area. And later,
instead of our pumps abstracting water, instead of drawing water to the plant, it ends up taking silt, sand, into the plant.
Now, following pollution and destructions of some water bodies caused by illegal mining, Citi TV and Citi FM to hold roundtable discussion tomorrow, dubbed the Citi Galamsey Dialogue on implications of the activities on Ghana's water security.
This thing must trigger some decision. It must trigger some decision, because if it's left the way it is, or if we handle it the way we've been handling it in the past couple of years, we are in double trouble.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for your time this afternoon. To our first story, the minority in Parliament is asking the government to use part of the over 8 billion Ghana cedis revenue accrued from petroleum products to cushion consumers against the current hardship. The minority says the government has received over 8 billion cedis from the petroleum resources in less than 3 months as against its predictions of generating 6 billion for the year 2022. Speaking to journalists, the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapo, urged the government to act to halt the escalation of fuel prices, which they say has seen an over 300% increase in less than a year.
I wish to place on record that this government is making so much money from the Ukraine-Russian war. In the 2022 budget, government projected that it will receive a total amount of about 6 billion for the whole of 2022. That is what was projected in the budget. Today, as we speak, from the PIAC report, in less than 3 months, and I mean just 1 quarter, government has received over 8 billion cedis from our petroleum resources. So in 3 months, government has received more than it projected for the whole year. So government is making supernormal profits. In fact, even the price stabilization and recovery levy, which is supposed to subsidize fuel, government projected that in the first 2 quarters, it will receive 269 million. As we speak, from the Ministry of Finance's own record, government has received about 800 million. And so this notion that government is not making revenue is a fallacy. It's a complete falsehood. Government is making so much money from our petroleum resources. I therefore call on President Akufo-Addo and the outgoing Minister of Finance that they should do something about this price increment. They should sit up and think outside the box and apply these huge supernormal profits to cushion the ordinary Ghanaian. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel very sad as a member of parliament when on a daily basis I receive calls from my members in the constituency who cannot even afford 1 square meal a day. People cannot even send their kids to school because of the exorbitant fuel prices, which is having a cascading effect on food prices and the general cost of living. We hold the view that government can do something about the fuel price increment.
You heard the ranking member on Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapo. We go over the phone lines to speak to my colleague, Ni Ayikwe Okain, to give us more on this. Good afternoon, Ni. And what more have the minority been saying?
Good afternoon, Wilma. So this morning, the minority in Parliament, precisely the Mines and Energy Committee, actually urged the government to ensure that the revenue that has been accrued from the petroleum fund or the petroleum resources part should be used to actually cushion consumers against the current economic situation, because many are actually suffering due to the frequent hikes in the fuel prices. Hence, the need for government to act to ensure that this particular situation is actually mitigated for the enhancement of livelihoods of Ghanaians. And aside that, today during proceedings in the House, Parliament is also expected to adopt some reports of various committees in the House. And the first of these reports was a report on the Committee of Employment, Social Welfare and State Enterprises on the audited financial statements of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, for 2019 and 2020 financial years. So this particular report, during its debate, the minority has raised concerns that about $100 million has been diverted from the petroleum fund by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, without seeking parliamentary approval. So they are actually calling on the minister to ensure that funds are, refunded back into the Petroleum Hold Fund. And the Mines and Energy Committee ranking member, that's John Jinapo, indicated that this is actually against the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act. So it is clear that the government has actually breached the law. So the need for them to ensure that the funds, that's the $100 million fund, is refunded back into the petroleum fund. And the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, on his part, called on the Mines and Energy Committee of the House to probe this particular concern that has been raised on the floor. So that has been it for today on the floor of Parliament, Wilma.
Now, we know the minority has been speaking on the suspension of subsidy on residual fuel oil. What have they been saying?
So they have indicated that, yesterday the National Petroleum Authority announced that they've suspended the government subsidy on residual fuel oil for industries, and which means that now industries would be operating at full cost. And this, the minority says that it's meaningless because it doesn't have any impact on the economy. So there was no need for the government to have suspended this particular subsidy to the various industries that rely on this fuel for their operations.
Well, thank you very much. Ni Ayikwe Okan is our parliamentary correspondent, bringing us up to speed on a presser that the minority had with the journalist earlier today.
We'll stay with the energy sector because the Association of Oil Marketing Companies is warning of a possible collapse of some outlets in the face of the current economic challenges and the high cost of running their businesses. Stakeholders in the industry attribute the incessant increase in fuel price to the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar and the difficulties in accessing dollars for purchase. The Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Ajimendua, tells Citi News some companies have already collapsed due to the increase in losses.
Oh yeah, already we have got some people who have collapsed already. It's like that. I mean, when you have this one, we have the survival of the fittest. The weak ones will just fizzle out. But the old guys are still around. That gives us hope. Those guys in the industry, they are still sticking around. Because you see, this one calls for some experience to be able to be at the age of it. That's what they are expecting.
CEO of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Ajimendua. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amoah, is warning that should prevailing conditions in the petroleum sector fester, there will be a shortage of petroleum products in the country ahead of the Christmas festivities.
If you look at the economic activities that occasion the last quarter, usually, we are not looking at the cedi doing any better. Importations are going to double because of the festivities that we are approaching. And that means that the currency may still take a battering. Once that happens, you are expecting to have prices go up further. Again, OPEC Plus has given an indication that they are working to cut back on production numbers. That can only mean one thing. Global or FOB prices will go up. That is why I have said if we do not change course, if we do not see a certain urgent action, we are simply going to have fuel prices go up next week again.
Duncan Amoah is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. The National Petroleum Authority is, however, assuring that steps are being taken to ensure regular supply of fuel throughout the year. Mohammed Abdul Kudus is the Director of Communications at the National Petroleum Authority.
Primarily around this time, what is within our control and what we probably will be able to help is the regularity of the product out there in the market. And so we're trying as much as possible to guarantee the supply. You realize that in the last 1-2 weeks, one of the discussion outside pricing has been the availability of the product. Some are predicting shortage of the product. We're working so hard to ensure that there's going to be the product in the market all year round. On the issue of price, we normally would have our own in-house study that informs us of the outlook and to what we should plan. But we normally use more of it for our in-house consumption than put it out there.
Mohammed Abdul Kudus is the Director of Communications at the National Petroleum Authority.
We'll go back to Parliament to listen to what the minority has been saying, asking for an immediate refund of about $10 million diverted from the petroleum fund by the government. You hear John Jinapo.
If you go to page 2, subsidiaries of GMPC, GMPC S local, that is 1. Prestia Sankofa 2. GMPC Foundation 3. Mole Motel 4. Nowhere is Jubilee Holdings mentioned here. Nowhere is Jubilee Holdings mentioned here. The minority therefore demand that 100 million that has been transferred by the finance minister to Jubilee Holdings, as captured in the peer report, that money must, with immediate effect, be paid back into the Petroleum Holding Fund, as envisaged in the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. There's a certain explanation that GMPC borrowed money. Act 919, the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, states categorically in Section 15, Section 32, that before GMPC can borrow such an amount, they need parliamentary approval. They don't have any parliamentary approval. Because these are serious matters. And through our leader, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, we intend to elevate this particular issue to its highest level. We cannot allow the nation's resources to be dissipated in such a manner.
John Jinapo is the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Now, the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, also called on the committee, the Mines and Energy Committee, that is, to probe the diversion of the $100 million from the Petroleum Fund.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of Delex Finance and Leasing Company Limited, Ken Thompson, has begged President Akufo-Addo to take decisive decisions and save the economy from a total collapse. Mr. Thompson believes the country's economy is nearing a total collapse and needs urgent interventions to save it. Speaking on a face-to-face on Citi TV, Mr. Thompson went down on his knees and called on the president to put in measures that will ensure that majority of Ghanaians are not plunged into poverty and further suffering.
His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa, what I can see coming is not good. If you are watching, what I can see coming is not good. I can see poverty, I can see job losses, I can see business closures, I can see prices going up, price of electricity will go up, I can see it. I lived through the 70s, I saw it. I saw my parents, when my parents came back from, my mother came back from England, she as a nurse, she bought a brand new car, a Peugeot 403. I can see how eventually she was not able to repair the car. He was involved in the crash. Also, she was actually coming to visit me, car crashed, and that was the end of it. I can remember very well how our carpets became threadbare, how the seats, the chairs became broken, how, we started wearing second-hand clothes. I've seen it. I'm 61, I can't do much about what's happening now, but you can. And I'm begging you that please take decisive action, be decisive, because I believe that you are capable of. And let's move this country forward.
He also reiterated a call on the government to drastically cut down on expenditures. He says reducing the number of ministers to 30, among other expenditure cuts, is a great way to lessen the pressure on the economy.
We must take an axe to the expenditure. And that's where the pain is going. Everything you can think of, you've got to take an axe to it. Everything you can think of, you've got to take an axe to it. We must take an axe to the expenditure. You've got to cut down the size of government. And that's where I really plead to the president. Signal that you appreciate what is going on and take an axe to government. Cut it down. We have, I think, 128 ministers. Cut it down to 30. Take an axe. This is the time when we need to show intent, of living within our means, making changes, making adjustments to how we live.
Mr. Ken Thompson is the Chief Executive Officer of Delex Finance and Leasing Company Limited.
Now, the Volta Aluminium Company, Valco, has described as untrue reports suggesting that its decision to shut down operations was due to the cutting in supply of power by the Ghana Grid Company Limited following a protest by the workers against management. The company says the controlled shutdown was to prevent future problems with its smelters after an ongoing integrated aluminium industry project, which is currently being spearheaded by the president. In a press statement, the company urged the public to disregard claims that shutting its operations will cost the company $100,000 per pot and $10 million in restarting the plants. The company further clarified that the salaries of workers have always been indexed in Ghana cedis, hence the demand by its workers to index their salaries in dollars is unwarranted.
Now, owners of excavators in the country have up to the close of today, November 2nd, 2022, to register their equipment or have it confiscated by the state. The Lands and Natural Resources Ministry last week issued a 7-day ultimatum to owners of excavators to register with their various local government assemblies. According to the ministry, this directive forms part of plans by the government to fight the activities of illegal mining.
Now, the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Owusu, has hinted of possible measures to address concerns of defaulters of the SIM re-registration exercise. This comes on the back of the expiration of the October moratorium granted by the ministry to get SIM users to re-register their SIM card. She maintains that her ministry is in talks with the National Identification Authority to address the challenges of registrants with genuine concerns. Speaking on the sidelines of the technology breakfast meeting organized to deepen the awareness of government's digitalization drive among public sector chief executives, Madam Owusu said Ghanaians need to support the systems government is putting in place to protect the digital space.
We all need to ensure that we protect the systems that we're putting in place. This is one aspect of it, but SIM registration is also another aspect of it. There's some who have genuine concerns. We're working with the NIA to do that. But there are others who have the Ghana card but have not completed the process. So clearly either they do not intend to or are unwilling to. And so we'll have some measures to announce in due course soon.
That's the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Owusu.
Now, as part of efforts to provide consumers with clean and refreshing water, Sky Water and Beverage Limited have introduced its premium water brand into the market. The Water and Beverage Company posits that its premium water brand is sourced from a clean and hygienic place, making it one of the most competitive bottled water brands in the country. Speaking at the unveiling of a brand ambassador for the premium water, the Chief Executive Officer of Sky Water and Beverage Limited, Opare Amwa, assured consumers of clean and safe water.
So Sky Water is located between two mountains in the eastern region, Yaukro in Sawam. Okay, so the water is from the ground, has no interference with any from the time it comes from the ground to the bottle, it comes straight. So there is no interference with the process. So you're sure of getting clean, crisp water. Okay. Our processes are of high quality, one of the best in the country. Is a fully automated process, and it guarantees you safe drinking water. And the price is just right, very competitive.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of Sky Water and Beverage Limited, Opare Asamoah.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at Adabaka in Accra. Still ahead, residents of Benoit Takla and Hojo in the whole municipality call on government to, as a matter of urgency, rehabilitate deplorable roads in the area. We'll bring you details of this story and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers. Stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, traders at the Obuobisa market in the capital have debunked profiteering claims as the cause of the recent price hikes in goods. Citi News' Endosafo visited the market to interact with the traders to ascertain how they price their goods.
The prices of goods, especially consumables, have seen an increase over the past couple of months. Now, most people or some people have attributed this to inflation rates as well as the depreciation of the city. We're here at the Obuobisa market, one of the biggest markets in Accra, to find out from stakeholders what is accounting for this increase in various consumables each and every day. The Obuobisa market is also known for the affordability of the goods that it provides. As you can see, people have pepper, there's cucumbers, there's ginger, there's onions. And if you go further in, you'll see wholesalers of rice, of oil, of onions, both foreign and local. Basically anything and everything that you want, consumable goods that you want to buy, you can find right here at the Obuobisa market. The question is, are these consumables just as affordable as people think they are? We're going to go inside, speak to some retailers and wholesalers, and find out from them whether indeed the prices are still affordable. We're currently at one of the shops in Obuobisa. They sell rice, they sell seasoning cubes, they sell oil, they sell a whole lot of other things that people consume on a daily basis. Now, one of the things that most people have been complaining about in recent times has been the price of oil and rice. We're going to walk inside and speak to the woman whose shop this is so that she can explain to us how they price their goods. We see a lot of the things that you sell here. How is the market now in terms of pricing?
Everything is up. Everything is up. Everybody is increasing its goods. And they are determining the prices by the benchmark, the dollar, the VAT, and increase in petrol. That is the basis of the price increment. And the prices are going on each day. We don't even know what to do. People come here and they come by, then they go. So the market is very slow because so there is increment in prices.
Most people have been complaining about the prices of rice and oil. How much is a bag of rice?
A bag of rice, when you are talking about the non-perfume, that is, we categorize it as wache. It goes from 500 upwards. And at the other ones, the perfume like this starts from 40 kilos, 700 and above. It goes to 1,000, depending on the type of value and quality you want.
And then the oil, how much is a big gallon?
The big gallon, as we are talking today, from Wilma, Ghana, the producers of fried oil, their price is still 1,000 from the company. Today is 1st November 2022. If I'm wrong, they should go to Wilma, Ghana and confirm their prices. But there are other oils that are coming in. It starts now from 700 upwards. That is the 25 liters oil.
You mentioned the benchmark policy, Forex, VAT, as well as petrol. Is that what accounts for the price increment?
Yes, please.
So that means the price increment is not specifically from your end?
No, please. It's from the manufacturers of the goods. When they import, the benchmark determines the duty they are going to pay. And the dollar determines the exchange rate for them to buy the goods outside. And the petroleum determines how the goods reaches to their warehouse before they supply. And the VAT determines how much they are going to sell. So that is all the basis for the price increment. So if the government wants to do something about it, he should start from the factories. Should go them, ask them the basis of their calculation of the increment in prices. Then he will sit down with them and see if they are overpricing. From there, they descend down to us. Because we are wholesalers and retailers at the same time, serving the final consumers. Imagine an instance, you go and buy a sardine. Today, they are quoting the cheapest sardine in the system for 340 cedi from the company per one box. That is China sardine because the sardines are also in specification. The qualities differ
in the price.
So the cheapest is 340. Imagine when you buy it at 340. It's inside 6 cedi, 90 pesos or something. You are coming here and you sell one for 7 cedi, so that it will be 350 cedi. Out of the 350, you buy carrier bags to serve the customers. Out of that 10 cedi, you pay your workers. Out of that 10 cedi, you pay light bill and other utility bills. So how much are you going to gain at the end of the day? So we are not those who are overpricing the things. The benchmark, we are losing, because at the end of the day, when we sell, our money keep on depreciating. You buy today for 200, you go next time, you buy 200, you sell 210 or 205. Next time you are going to buy again, it's 250. So you make 10 cedi profit and you have to add 40 Ghana to the money to go and buy. Where from the 40 Ghana? So if you don't have any strong backbone, then your business will collapse. You go bankrupt and you close and go home. We are really suffering. The government should do something about it.
One of the things they sell at the cold store is cow legs. Now, women go to the cold store, buy their cow legs, and come and sell. We have one of the traders here who says she's also feeling the brunt of the fluctuation in prices. So we're going to be speaking to her to find out exactly what is going on. Nancy, recently, what are the prices of cow leg in the market?
Prices in India are high.
The prices are very high. I won't kid you. It's very difficult to get cow leg to sell.
How much is it being sold?
It's now 450 cedis, and the least is 400. Initially, it was 260, but now that one is 400 Ghana cedis.
As I say, no, 400 Ghana cedis.
What was the initial price?
Initially, it was 260 cedis, but now that one is 400 Ghana cedis.
Has there been a time where the price of the cow leg increased astronomically at a point?
Almost price near 380.
Oh yes, it happened last week. The cold store increased the price there and then from 300 Ghana cedis to 400 Ghana cedis. As a result, we also increased our prices.
By what margin will you increase your price?
The increment will depend on how many pieces are in the box. The increment will include cleaning. I will also have to ensure that I make more than 40 Ghana for one.
Will you be able to afford the next purchase if you sell at 50?
Everyone has increased their prices, so we have no choice. Everything has increased, even the polythene bag we use. So in order to be able to survive and feed my family, I also have to increase my price.
5 cedis, 400 cedis here. Send our semiton. Was a summit. Send your Musumania be. As a Musumi Piabon to some good jar. Menyes Cadading, a big Janibi. Was send Bibia Boyadin. It's a median on the Boyadin. I was some suit to money Boyadin. Some some Piabon Tia. Or when you are so to money Boyadin.
Mampacho, we're Bruno for free. Pachamico for free. Where do you buy your maize from?
I buy my maize from Ejura. A bag used to be sold for 450 Ghana cedis, but now it is going for 550 Ghana cedis. When I calculate my cost, it will be around 600 Ghana cedis, so I sell it for 650 Ghana cedis a bag.
6 million, and now on so the what on the same amount?
They see I'm 6.5.
Amount 6.5 no, 5 no, and also the 5 now. Is the extra 50 cedis not too much?
No, if you consider my staff and all other costs, I will incur.
Is the 650 Ghana cedis a general price across board? And if your competitors have a cheaper price, won't that affect your sales?
The prices are the same across board. If I don't increase my prices, I will not be able to pay my staff.
Let's still interact with some of the traders. I'm at another shop here at Obuobisa that sells onions, garlic. So we're going to talk with her, and she's going to tell us exactly where she gets her goods from and whether or not profiteering exists in that space.
Oh, first, Kramudi buy 100 cedis
for one pack.
The onion was sold at 100 Ghana cedis for a bag, but now it is being sold for 300 Ghana cedis.
How much do you sell it?
I sell it for 320 Ghana cedis or 300 Ghana cedis.
Apeja almost every market day, prices is changing.
The prices are increasing on a daily basis. The price today is not guaranteed for tomorrow.
Because on TSC.
More important near me, and say dollar no affect mo. Does the forex rate affect your business?
The forex rate certainly takes a toll on our business because all goods I sell are imported.
Because free foreign never.
Well, it seems that in our interactions with most of the traders, their prices are pegged the same way. For instance, these carrots here cost 14 cedis for this bag and 140 for this bag. And if you go to the next shop over there, you'll realize that the prices are being sold at the same price. 14 cedis for the white bag and 140 Ghana cedis for the big orange bag. Reporting for City News, my name is Inu Safo.
We'll move away from that. Now, there's some commercial drivers at the New Plan station in Seko say they are at the receiving end of agitations by passengers over the hike in transportation fares. Drivers in the Greater Accra region this morning adjusted upwards transport fares following the increment of fuel prices on November 1. A litre of diesel and petrol is currently selling at over 23 Ghana cedis and 17 Ghana cedis, respectively, at major pumps. Speaking to Citi News, some of the drivers blamed the fare increment to the soaring petroleum prices.
I go to Kaswa, Russia, Sukula, and Kanish, and Odoko, Malangu, anywhere. Dodo Angu. Yeah.
Okay. So this morning, where have you been to?
Right now, I'm from Kaswa and come here.
To Seko. Okay. And how much did you charge them? Did you charge them the new fare?
New fare, be 10 cedi, 10 pesos. The Kaswa come to Seko.
And how much were they paying with the Saturday increment?
Saturday, be 9 cedi, 50 pesos.
So it means that you've added 60 pesos.
Yeah, the 60 pesos go inside. Then people talk, you tell the passenger say it's not the passenger fault, it's not driver fault. And your driver fault and your passenger fault. Oh, I buy no two petrol, then swear ya two petrol full. Send a petrol share, bet my to this area at the year.
At what time did the new prices come?
Oh, from yesterday, let's say 5:30. From yesterday 5:30, as we come inside like this, no way then start. And start to collect the money.
And who gave it to you to charge the new one?
Our masters, the station people waiting there here. Them way them giving to us.
And why did they say they've increased it? Did they tell you?
Oh, as I met here, so as I come, I don't have any challenge to challenge them. So as I come with them to say, make them correct like this, no, I don't have anything to say unless I collect that thing. You understand?
So for a lot of people, it is new, the charges, it is new. So I'm sure in the morning when people are boarding your car, they'll say, why have you increased it? How has the whole day been like?
Oh,
people board it and they see the new price.
Then they explain it, but it's not, we all do it like that, so it is like, I don't know how to say it. How they like, if you come like this, no, with them to say, we are collecting like this, no, you're supposed to pay because you don't know what is going. You understand?
But do people complain? Do they
Then they complain. But
what exactly some of the things they say? What do they say? When they sit in the car and they see the new price, what do they say?
Oh, as they see the car inside and see this thing there, nobody, they are just quiet and say, make them pay because make them pay the money and then we all take our distance.
So now that it has increased, what would you tell people who come and pick your car? What would you tell them when they come? What should they do?
Oh, as they come, maybe let's say you are coming to pick the car, you don't know the price about the car. So I will tell you, say, maybe right now we are collecting money like this. You understand? Before enter the car inside. Because the thing that you don't know, if I let you to enter the car inside and then we go something to happen, I am the one who cross it. You get it? So I will tell them before sitting the car inside.
Those were some drivers attributing the transport fare increment to the soaring petroleum prices. We go over the phone lines to speak to a man on the ground, Kweku Ediama Ansa, to tell us more. Good afternoon, Kweku. How are people taking the new fares?
Thank you, Coleman. So a lot of people are not really enthused by the increment in transport fares, especially when they say that they were not given prior notice. You know, the recent increment that was done last Saturday, we all heard about it. It was in the media space for some time. We heard about the interactions and the engagements that was being done by the GPRTU, that's the national body, and also with government before the increment came out. Unfortunately, this particular increment came out just this morning. So for a lot of people who use the commercial vehicles last night, they paid a different thing. But just when it comes to pay another increment in the price that they used to pay. So for some people who say that they were moving from the La Paz area to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle or to Accra, last night paid 5 Ghana cedis, 80 pesos. Now, they were told to pay 6 Ghana cedis, 40 pesos this morning. And so a lot of people were agitated, they were ranting, and it's because they were peeved by the increment. They were asking questions. And you know that when this particular frustration comes out, mostly it is centered on these mates, these conductors, because they are the people at the receiving end. So that has been the situation over the past few hours. For a lot of drivers, they say that they try to explain to these passengers, but you know, a lot of people do not want to hear these explanations because they say that life has become unbearable. Every now and then they need to cough out more money to be able to go about their normal duty. So it's not really been a very good atmosphere for a lot of drivers and a lot of people who are moving from one particular place to another. So, Coleman, it's not really been a good side. Some of the people, some of the vehicles that have been in this morning, you hear them ranting anytime they're told that you have to now pay more for the same place that you're moving to. So it's not really been a very good situation for a lot of them.
Okay, now we have the voice of some of the passengers. Let's listen to them and we'll come back to you. Can you hold on?
Well priced. And they just expect us to still rely on that cola and use in our day in, day out activities. That is not the best. We are all in this. And this is the time all Ghanaians will have to come together to do away with NDC and NPP. We are hot. All the smaller parties should come together. This is the time. They come, they give us promises. This person will come and say, oh, these people are corrupt. Vote for us. When we come, we'll do the best for you. They promise us day in, day out. At the end, you cast your votes for them, and they come, it's the same thing. My brother, the issue is that NPP and NDC cannot save us from this. They are all the same. We need to change. Great. All Ghanaians must say, we refuse political slavery. This is slavery, and we can't take it any longer.
So from the 200, you are now supposed to pay 260. How are you thinking of going back?
That is why I'm telling you that there's no way I can go back to Tamale. I've come to stay in Accra, and living in Accra is not easy. Just from Dansoma, Agege, on Monday, I boarded 6 Ghana cedi to cycle. This morning, 7 Ghana cedi.
7.5 actually, we're hearing.
You mean 7.5? How am I supposed to, I mean, where am I going to get the extra from?
Bubuash. Yeah. And how much are you anticipating that you're going to pay?
I'm expecting to pay 4 cedis, but right now I think it's almost 6 cedis now. So then the price is too much. Yes.
Wow. And have they told you the reason why?
They said the rise of the dollar, and then I don't see anything about the dollar here. So we are just worried, and then we don't know what we are going to do now.
So we do know that they increased the fares last week Saturday, and today they are increasing it again. How do you take that?
It's very bad. The government needs to do something about it. We are suffering, and then we need a strong surviving zone right now. We are suffering.
You had some passengers bemoaning the increase in transport fares. Now, Kweku, we know this increase happened overnight. That's the motherboard GPRTU. Do they know about this increment?
Well, so I have been trying to get answers. I've gone to the GPRT's national office, which is right at the TUC building here in Accra. Honestly speaking, they have been tight-lipped with information. They do not want to indulge us in any form. And from what we're picking up, we understand that the national body is currently in a crunch meeting. And this is because, well, some people are indicating that if they were allowed to increase the transport fares by the margin that they had proposed last week Saturday, which was about by 40%, that would have been better. That would have settled the whole issue than to rather ask them to increase it by 19% after the engagement with government. And so from what we're picking up, we are understanding that it looks like the national body knows about it, but it is difficult for them to really control this particular situation. And I'm saying this because when you take a look at the price list that they show to you, there's no signature to it, as it's mostly seen by where there's an increment. So there's no signature to it, and you do not know who is saying that they can actually go ahead to increase it. But when you also speak to the local chapters of the GPRTU, who do not also want to come out with information, but they tell you off the record that, well, they really cannot control their people now because it looks like the 19% increment was not sufficient enough for them. So they have to now go ahead, especially as the prices of fuel is also going up each and every day. We just saw an increment just yesterday on the 1st of November. So for them, it means that they need to also adjust their prices higher so that they can make up for the losses that they will be carrying. So GPRT is not officially speaking to the media now, but we are picking that they are in a crunch meeting following the increment that has been done already.
All right, thank you very much. Kweku Ediama Ansa is my colleague here at Citi FM and Citi TV, giving us up to speed a situational report on the increment in transport fares.
Now, residents and road users of Penoi, Takla, and Hojo in the whole municipality are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix a 10-kilometer road from the Penoi to the Volta Regional Capital Ho. Some road users who spoke to Citi News say they have to visit the mechanic every week to fix their cars as most parts get damaged after each ride on the road. Some of them have been speaking to Citi News.
Oh, as for this road here, in fact, it's a very bad road for us. And, you know, we the people, especially the people using car, you pass here, these days buying a car part is not easy. When you are going, instead of using 2 minutes just to cross this small distance, you end up using like 20 to 30 minutes. So the road is not good. You should come and work on it for us. They have done their part, but they should complete it.
As for Ghanaians, always we are praying for the best. As for this road, every 2 weeks you have to change your shocks. At times when we are coming from the town, we have to park our car.
You heard some road users of Penoi, Takla, and Hojo in the whole municipality of the Volta region.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News from our studios at Adabaka in Accra. My name is Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with Charles Owusu Kumi. Still to come, following pollution and destructions of some water bodies caused by illegal mining, Citi TV and Citi FM to hold a roundtable discussion tomorrow dubbed the Citi Galamsey Dialogue on implications of the activities on Ghana's water security. We'll bring you details of the stories and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers. update you on all the running stories, and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, despite the numerous government assurances of stopping Galamsey activities, which is destroying various rivers in the country, coupled with new legislations and the intensive monitoring operations by Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the polluted state of the Pratt River in the Western region is still obvious. Citi News' Western Regional Correspondent Akwesi Ejay-Enim takes a look at the challenges confronting the Dabuase Water Treatment Plant, which is currently able to treat around 4.8 million gallons of water daily out of its installed capacity of 6 million gallons from the Galamsey polluted River Pra.
River Pra is today the main source of raw water that is treated by the Ghana Water Company's water treatment plant here in Dabuase in the Wassa East District of the Western region. But unfortunately, this is the state of water that is treated by the plant. A look at it tells you that the turbidity or the purity of this very water is in bad shape. This very pumping plant or the intake is where the water is actually pumped into the plant for processing. But a look at it shows that the pumping machines over here are having issues because the water state is what actually impacts on the pumping machine. And according to engineers over here, whenever the turbidity of the water is that bad, it also affects the efficiency of the pump. And for that matter, its ability to actually pump enough water into the plant for processing. We will be going inside the pumping room to actually see the states of the pumping machines and how they work. You could be seeing that it is very far below. And this is the state of the kind of water that the company has to actually treat for the general masses consumption. And as you can see, it is not really in good taste at all. According to the Ghana Water Company, these 4 pumps we actually see here at the intake point or the pumping room where the water is actually pushed from the river into the plant for processing. When these pumps have to deal with a very bad turbidity of the quality of water coming in here, the pump sometimes even gives up. And that affects the quantity of, pumping that will actually happen here in the pumping room before the water actually gets to the plant. And the issue here is that for the pumps to actually do the work that they have to do, the turbidity of the water or the purity of the water should not be that bad. And whenever it is that bad, it has its own implication on the lifespan or the quality of work the pumps have to do. So now I've actually moved inside the Dabuase water treatment plant proper, where we have 2 main settling tanks. The one actually on my right, I'm told, is supposed to, under normal circumstances, have about 3 million gallons of water. And this one on my left side is supposed to also have 3 million gallons of water. Inside here at the dividing chamber, I'm told this is where from the intake the raw water actually came into the plant. And over here, the water is actually mixed with alum before it moves straight into the settling tanks. And this very settling tanks has 2 chambers. You see the primary settling tank over there looks very dirty. The turbidity of the water over there is an issue. It goes through some kind of processing before it comes to the secondary chamber where the water actually settles. And then you see that there's a serious contrast between the state of the water from the primary chamber and the second chamber. And from here, I'm told it goes into that facility over there where several chemicals is actually applied. And don't forget, the Ghana Water Company has always been complaining that a lot of chemicals has to be actually used in processing the water before it gets to our individual homes. And that costs them money. And so for them, looking at the state of the turbidity of the water in the primary chamber before it comes to the secondary chamber, this is all cost to the states. And for such monies to actually be spent wisely, the issue of Galamsey must be checked. It must be nipped in the bud for this country to cut down on the cost of water that is consumed.
The demand for water is between 15 and 20 million gallons of water a day. Sometimes we produce 2 million. as I told you, 2 million in a day. And sometimes the water doesn't produce at all, nothing comes out. Because of Galamsey illegal mining activities upstream the Pra River, there is so much silt accumulation at the intake. This silt deposit makes it very difficult for at least some amount of water to come to the intake. So instead of seeing water there, you would rather be seeing silt. And instead of our pumps abstracting water, instead of drawing water to the plant, it ends up taking silt, sand, into the plant. So that makes it very difficult for us to be able to get adequate quantities of water to abstract. Ghana Water Company, we ourselves cannot stop Galamsey.
So after thorough
City News' West Regional Correspondent Akwesi Ejeyenim filed that report.
Still on matters of Galamsey, Citi TV and Citi FM will hold a crucial roundtable discussion on illegal mining known as Galamsey and its implications on Ghana's water security. The event is dubbed the Citi Galamsey Dialogue. Citi FM led the campaign against Galamsey, compelling the government to ban all small-scale mining activities in 2017. The initiative resulted in significant improvement in freshwater bodies that were heavily polluted, with devastated forest areas seeing some recovery. However, in recent times, the activities of illegal small-scale miners have intensified, with analysts projecting more devastation than before. The management of Citi FM and Citi TV is once again showing leadership by bringing relevant stakeholders together to demand better environment for Ghanaians. Managing Director Samuel Atamensa says the Roundtable Stakeholder Forum must trigger decisions to restore Ghana's fast-depleting ecological space.
The whole idea is to showcase the clear and present danger that we are faced with our water security. For most people, it's just a commentary they hear, oh, Galamsey is no good. Yeah. But on many fronts, Galamsey is evil. But we are putting this conversation together to drum home the real threat that we are faced with. Continuous and disproportionate use of certain chemicals in our drinking water, in water meant for farming. You know what it means to our health, the health of our children, health of helpless communities. You know, when we talk about helpless communities, we are talking about the unknown or unnamed communities whose habitat is constituted by these water bodies and farmlands. That's all they know. When they say, I'm going to drink water, what they actually mean is that they are fetching water from the stream. They are not even talking about pipe-borne water. And such villages do exist. What we are doing literally is we are wiping all these communities away, physically wiping them off with this practice. And so putting this together, again, we have carefully invited the speakers from water safety and security related organizations and institutions who have done some work in this area. So to share some of their findings with us and also prompt government, this thing must trigger some decision. It must trigger some decision, because if it's left the way it is, or if we handle it the way we've been handling it in the past couple of years, we are in double trouble.
Samuel Atamensa is Managing Director of Citi FM and Citi TV. Now, the Citi Galamsey Dialogue will host Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company, Dr. Clifford Brymer, environmental toxicologist Professor Chris Gordon, Bob Alpha of Water Resources Commission, and Dr. Adjoa Yurinchi-Fianko. The Citi Galamsey Dialogue will be moderated by Vivian Kailoko and will be live on Citi FM and Citi TV from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30.
And that's how we end the City Prime News, which has been live from our studio at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabaka, Accra. We're also live on all our partner stations across the country. For more news, you can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. My name is Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I was here with
Charles Owusu Kumi.
Nashika Caesar is next with the afternoon's edition of the City Business News. Many thanks for your time over the last hour.
City 97.3. More variety.